Hello and welcome. I'm going to show you how to add an image inside text with a clipping mask. So here we have this cool little ensemble here. I'm going to show you how to put basically some kind of texture pattern inside of some text. It's going to look awesome. So let's go over here to our horizontal text. Make sure when you click on this text, you want horizontal. See how it says horizontal? We got that selected. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find a font here up at the top that is very thick, okay? One that I noticed is very thick right here is the black Arial Black Regular. You can use whatever font you want, but I'm going to use this one. And we're going to change the size to 1200 points, 1,200. That's very big. Now, depending on how the resolution, how big the size of your image is, you may have to make this bigger or smaller depending on what you need. So I'm just going to put 1,200 in there. I'm going to hit select return or enter. And now that kind of locks in that size. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to click right in here and I'm going to put the letter B. Okay. Now it has some other text on there, but I'm actually going to put hold down Shift and put B in there. Okay, so now I have B selected. Now I'm gonna, just so we can see this better, I'm gonna actually make it white. Okay, and then right here, you don't have to change it, but just so that this shows up better, I'm gonna make the color of the text white. But I don't think it really matters what color your text is, and you'll see why in a second, okay? So I'm gonna actually see this check mark right here at the top. I'm going to select that, and now that locks in the letter, it finishes that step. Now we're gonna reposition this B right here, this letter. So I'm gonna go to the move tool right up here to the left, and I'm going to move this where I want it. And just for now, let's just put it right here. Later on, I'm going to show you how to move this somewhere else. But for right now, I'm going to move this right there. Okay. Now that we have our B right there, I'm actually going to select return there. Okay. Now that we have that, the next thing we're going to do is over here, we have this B text. I'm going to put it underneath that blue leaves. That's important, okay? The blue leaves layer needs to be on top of your text layer. Make sure you reposition it so that the text that you're using, that layer is underneath this blue leaves layer, and you'll see why in a second, okay? So now I'm going to select this blue leaves layer, and I'm going to go over here and toggle the visibility so that you can see the little eye icon, okay? Now, you're like, what happened to the B? Don't worry. Now, we're going to go over here to, now that we have this selected, the blue leaves, I'm going to go over here to Layer, and I'm going to go to Create Clipping Mask. Select, go to Layer, Create Clipping Mask. And once we do that, voila, okay, it puts it right inside of your letter. It's pretty crazy, huh? Now, if we want to move this B, well, first of all, let me show you this. With this blue leaves layer, okay, and the move tool selected, you can, inside of this, you can move that layer that's behind it, which is really cool. So I kind of like that position, but you can just kind of move it wherever you want. If you move it too far, you're going to see the edge. But for me, I'm going to put that right there. That's a cool position. The next thing we want to do, you're like, well, what if I want to move the whole thing, like this whole B, and move it somewhere? Well, what we can do is if we select the blue leaves layer and the text layer, on my Mac keyboard, I'm going to hold down Command to select more than one layer. I'm assuming on the Windows keyboard, it might be like Control, but I don't know for sure. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to actually hold down Command. I have both of those selected. I'm going to hold down Command, and I can move this wherever I want it. Now, notice that I probably need to move this layer down right there, because notice there's a little white there. So I'm going to go back over here to just that layer, and I'm going to move it down just a little bit there. And there you go. Now, if I want to save this and I don't need to have all the layers, I can just save this as a JPEG. I always go to File, Save a Copy, so I don't save over something else that's important. And I always put my name in the front, Mr. Camera. Right? Now, you can put whatever your name want, and then you're going to go over here to JPEG. Now, if you want all the different layers, save it as a Photoshop file. And there you go. That's how you can basically add an image inside text with a clipping mask. Okay.